speaking into the headphones as a one-off. Don't worry, I'll be back on the mic in the next video. I'm just taking a week off. Got a bit disillusioned again, but it's alright, I'll come back. But there is something I do want to say, so I've got this for my personal thoughts playlist. Thought I'd come back with that. And the government that we've got in this Starmer at the moment is a right prick. There's a few things that I want to get out on this guy, right, because I've always been a bit of an anarchist, me. Even though I know that we do need some type of police presence, yeah, something to keep certain people in check, but, you know, I lean more towards something like a local government, something local to your town, maybe, and we can all stick together rather than having this overarching force that's just corrupt as hell and just definitely has been taken over by corporations, donations, yeah. It's not just like that here now, that is all over Europe, and definitely in America it's a major problem that we've got. You know, where you've got these big wigs, people with billions of dollars that are able to make donations, but then they always want something back in return. Clearly they're not just throwing this money down the drain, they're not just setting it on fire, are they? This is a problem that needs rectifying, because these people are completely sold out, right, when they're meant to be working for us, aren't they? Just like the police are meant to be working for us.
Is this some war council? Are we at war? Are we really going to fight for what cause? With whom? With what resources? We are not helping Ukraine by prolonging this war. You're not helping Ukrainian people who were looking for shelter, escaping their own country, and
Well, dear colleague, it wasn't really a question, but let me assure you that this Parliament, up until the beginning of this illegal war against Ukraine, has been quite united to make sure that we both military, but also in infrastructure and financially support the people of Ukraine, who clearly stated they want to be part of a free Europe and not to be part in the future of a Russian Federation where there is no democracy and no freedom of speech. Thank you very much.
Several members of Congress in some of my discussions have brought up media literacy, because that is a part of what happened here. And we're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment so that you can't just spew disinformation and misinformation. It's one thing to have differing opinions, but it's another thing entirely to just say things that are false.
You mentioned the press, and sadly, the press is still not able to cover Trump the way that they should. They careen from one outrage to the next. What was outrageous 3 days ago is no longer on the front pages, even though it threatens the physical safety of so many people, particularly, as you point out, immigrants that he and Vance have. To indict the Russians, just as Mueller indicted a lot of Russians who were engaged in direct election interference and boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence.
Which really means I'm speaking to people that live in England, where I am. But we've just had a new government put in, a Labour government. I'd have sooner stuck with the Conservatives, but it is a shame really how we've only got two parties really. You can't really include the other one, can you? The Liberal Democrats, who would want to vote for that? Somebody with blue hair. Not me. But yeah, we've only got two. And they both piss in the same bucket, so it's not really a democracy, is it? A vote for one is a vote for the other. You get to my age, you realise that, but Labour is meant to be for the working class. It's in the name, Labour. That was always the point of it. So when they finally get in to fund their plans, their tyranny, they've decided to do it through taking the heating money off pensioners, right? And the other one is they're taking it out on pubs, people that go and drink in pubs, like trying to stop all smoking, even outside the pubs or in the beer gardens, when they've already gone too far with it. Now look, my main message with this, because I've been going round in circles for days with this. I've been just walking around and working, thinking what I'm going to say in this video. Much of that information has just come and gone. The main message that I want to put out in this is when I put the information out on the prophecies on the New Earth channel, and what Kim Clement has put out, I can tell you that every single thing that has been put out so far, the messages, all the prophecies from all the different countries. Obviously I look into England and France specifically, but mainly Russia. Much of it is based around what goes off in Russia. So that is really where the end times starts from. But I can tell you that there won't be any Third World War until Putin steps down, as well as the Belarus president. Them two step down more or less at the same time, and then it comes sometime after that. But Donald Trump will get in for a second term. There is no doubt about that. But in terms of the bought and sold, the people that's meant to be ruling us at the top, and the absolute mess and disgrace that they've made, well, since COVID really, how they all got together. What I mean is, like, since that period, let's say before 2018, Europe, specifically England, Britain, were in a very, very good position. Everybody's life were great. It was easy to start businesses. People were buying houses and stuff all over the place, right? And then since COVID, it went down. But then it's been this when NATO, Europe has just gone against Russia, right? And the fact that they've lost the cheap oil and gas and whatever else, steel, coal, yeah. And just the fact that nobody wants to do business with the West anymore, right? Because you can't really have a serious gentleman's handshake or anything. You can't make an agreement. It doesn't matter even if you put it down on paper. The West just can't be trusted anymore, and that will never change. It has gone so far past that. And good, I think we deserve it, to be quite honest with you. Like I say, I haven't got any kids, so I don't care what happens. I'm not a flag lover. I just remember those times, and there were good times, and it has been our government that's completely ruined it all. What do I mean by that? We're talking about something like a modern day confessional box. Like in the old days, you could go into a confessional box, and if the priests or anything were corrupt, then they could get all the information and all your divulge into all your secrets, yeah, and maybe sell that on. But today, I just feel that with all these CCTV recordings, let's say some of our government goes over to Ukraine and they say a lot of things about the public. They go see the Azov battalion and they speak as if they're a little bit Nazified, yeah, a bit racist, and they divulge all sorts of information, but they've been recorded and this is bought and sold, yeah. That's what I think we're looking at. Something else that I feel is really important to do with this end time stuff, and that is what's just gone down in Lebanon with the walkie-talkies exploding and some other devices, because I could never figure out how by the time the end comes everybody's going to stop using technology. And is that all technology, or is it just from certain areas or certain technology. What we've just seen there, I think, plays a part in it. Okay, to finish this video off, I really do want to say this though, because if we are in the end times, then we've got to be looking out for, you know, when it states in Revelation that these things are going to be flying around and they've got a stinging tail, and that the wings sound like metal or something like that. And it just reminds me of these drones that's flying around, which I think will eventually get banned. So we've already reached that point. And then in terms of the mark of the beast, well, I can easily put it down to these watches, these phone linked watches or something. I don't know much about it because I've never had an iPhone.